All right. Hello, everybody. Um, Welcome to the every other Sunday Rooftops of America Livestream. I hope everybody's doing well. Give me a moment. I'm almost finished doing this thing I was doing. All right. So good to see you all here tonight, or whenever you jump on and watch this. It is January 18th already. So hey, Jess, thanks for being here. Um, It is the first live stream of 2026. Joining me tonight, of course, is this tasty beer by Other Half Brewing, Astor Place. It's a winter stout, at least that's what they call it. It's pretty tasty, pretty dark. So, um, it's been a while since we spoke, a couple weeks, I think right around Christmas time. So, we are in the new year and planning for new things is in full swing. This will probably be the next time you see next live stream you have. This will be gone and under control and a lot shorter as we get ready to look more presentable into the world. So, hey, Pretzel, belated Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Missed you at the last one. I know. I figured pretty much you probably had Christmas plans. Um, hey, Nick. Uh, Thanks for dropping in real quick. It's good to see you. Hope all's going well up north. So, but yeah, New Year, Christmas. We're in the heart of things now. So, 3 weeks in and trying to figure out what the plans are for the 2026. I know we talked about them a little bit last time and talk a little bit about them more a couple weeks, trying to figure out what's real, what's not. What is real for sure is a trip to Spain in August. We'll be doing, the family and I will be going to Valencia. I don't know if I'll necessarily get any high pointing done, though I have started. Well, I shouldn't say I have. I've started taking my Spanish lessons, but I haven't really done any geographical research on Valencia to see if there is a high point I could bag um, in that area, whether it's just the city, whether it's, all sorts of things. Um, I forgot to tune into your stream. No worries, man. It happens to the best of us. Best of us. There are days that go by where I like, oh wait a second, I'm supposed to do one of these tonight. So, no worries, Pretzel. I'm glad you're here. Hey, Ron. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. So that is one of the things I'm really sort of hoping for that August trip to at least get something, a Spanish high point of some bit, whether it's the city high point of Valencia, well, or whatever. Only got a week, so that's not as much time. If I do it, I probably won't make a thing out of it. If I do, it might be a very short thing. Um, but there is that. So other things I've been really looking into that, as I've been sort of laying out what's real, what's not for 2026, into the real column once again is the Kansas trip that I had planned for March of last year. I'm thinking maybe March, beginning of April of this year. That was to redo that entire Kansas episode and lengthen it out. Kansas is a pretty interesting state uh, in the fact that there's more there than meets the eye. And that really was one of these cases where, doing that drive across the state and finishing at um, Mount Sunflower, was going to be, a cool little epic journey, starting at the low point in the southeast corner and then making a sort of jaunt across the state and picking up some really cool sights along the way. Hot Springs National Park on Tuesday. That's awesome. Ron, I want to mention my top 5 YouTube watches for 2012. Rooftops live streams was number 5 on my list of most watched things. Ah, thanks, Ron. I never looked at what I have a feeling like my most watched thing on YouTube if I'm speculating, is probably something completely ridiculous, um, related to other things that I like in my life. So it wouldn't be surprising if it was Dungeons and Dragons or even Warhammer, like 40K lore videos. So I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit and giving you a peek of the other things that really drive my imagination. So now you know a little bit more about me. Um, but yeah, so Kansas. Um, I am still unreasonably excited about that, just as I was last year, about doing that trip. Um, by the way, Pretzel, when you're going to Hot Springs National Park, are you gonna try to go for the highest point? I mean, I know Hot Springs is, and if you saw a cat literally jump behind me, well, I'm in a slightly different location than normal, in the front room of the house, and we've been getting some furniture sorted to move out. So I apologize for the ridiculous nature of the kitties. Um, hey, Bill, glad you're here. I decided to do that trip this past Wednesday. I got a hotel close by, but Tuesday. Oh, nice. That's very cool. Um, but yeah, so the other thing I'm trying to really lock in is Mount Hood. I really would like to get a Western Peak. Um, and the two that are most doable right here, right now, would be Hood and Bora. Um, with going to Spain in August, Bora gets sort of pushed around a little bit. So maybe before Spain or immediately after. So, um, so I'll be doing a little more research on that. Surprisingly, I've been writing those particular. I found a tab that was open on my phone that has been open since 2023 for stuff on Mount Hood. So I've been writing that particular episode for a long time, um, and so it would be nice to move that completely off, get that finished. Speaking of which, getting California finished, that is a uh, boogeyman that's hiding in the closet that I still haven't managed to get out the door, which I need to get out the door. I think you'll like it. Um, and then the other thing, um, Pretzel, Alan's description of Hood: stand up, stretch your arms straight out, and you're touching your next step. Yeah, I've heard that that version of it. So um, more training definitely. Like Hood and Bora. I'm at the point now where every one of these Western peaks, with potentially the exception of Hawaii, which theory you could drive up, has to be taken a lot more seriously. Um, can't fake it. I gotta be fit and ready to go for them. Um, the other thing that's on the docket that is very much in the real column, put Hood. I don't. I don't know if it is permanently snow capped anymore. The last few years have been weird. It should be. I know that every time I've seen it, and the few times that I've been out there, it's always had a snow cap. So I do know that in the midsummer, from reports, that it becomes a rather treacherous climb because there's a lot of rockfall that can happen. Um, so it's one of these things where they always recommend, that sort of 6 week window of tail end of April, beginning of June, that time frame for Hood. So yeah, more to follow. More to follow. Um, the other element that is very much in the real column right now is New York City, the five boroughs in Long Island. If you've been on this stream for a while, you've probably seen Archie and I chat about getting that done. Um, but that's a lot more real now this year. Been working on that script for a while too. So definitely focused. That one I could actually I don't have to do that all in one go. I can actually shoot that periodically over, say, a month. So that's how I'm sort of going to probably break that one out. Do a little bit of movie magic, go up there and knock out those 6 locations 2 or 3 days, like over the course of a month. So we'll see how it plays out. It could make for a really interesting episode if you get like a bright sunny day, if you get a rainy day, but that's half the fun of it. So I'm also trying to figure out um, how do you capture high pointing in New York City? Like how do you really, like, because it's New York. So I've been spending a lot of time, especially because if you've watched enough of my things, you know that there are certain shots that I like, and I'll be the first one to admit, I I if I see somebody else has done a good shot, I will totally try to do a version of that. Um, I've st- I've stolen more than a few sort of ideas or concepts from Ken Burns and you know um, John Ford and all that, like, because there's just certain things. Um, yeah, I knew I had a good idea, Pretz, on who you were referring when you talked to Alan or when you mentioned Alan. Um, I can't think of his last name right now either. So, um, but yeah, like I want to get if I'm going to do a good 45 minutes on New York City on the high points of the 5 boroughs, I really want it to feel not just like New York City writ large, but that each high point really has the character of the borough that it's in. So, if anything, finding that is probably going to be where most of the time is spent on filming Vice, actually, the high point itself. Um, getting that flavor of Queens, Brooklyn, Long Island, whatever. So we'll see how it all how it goes out. Yeah, Alan Ritter. Yep, there it is. So, and technically, Ron, they are correct. Denali is the same as Britton Hill. um, so, at least, I mean, it's one of those things that always sort of makes me laugh is, um, yes, technically they are the same, but it's sort of like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger in Twins. Yes, they are. But so it always, it's part of the reason that I'm so keen on the American high points in general is just because nothing sort of shares this, or nothing lays out the spectrum more than the snow capped granite monstrosity that is Denali, Vice, a little barely noticeable hill in the pine forest of Florida. But yes, they are the same. Um, and Pretzel, you're absolutely right. That still only counts as one, but it's a hell of a one. Um, so, but yeah, so that's actually what's the things that are biggest on my mind right now, along with finally getting series put to bed too. I've been dabbling a bit here and there and trying to finish series in Vesta for the Rooftops of the Solar System thing. I know, like that at this point, it's just something that's hanging like this ghost that's hanging over my shoulder that's saying, "You really need to finish this. You really need to finish this." So, are there natural high points in New York City or more general areas that are manipulated like Ebright? Um, I want to say there are a few still natural high points, like Tot Hill in Staten Island for sure. Um, I want to even say, is it Why can't I think of the one in Manhattan? But I want to say the one in Manhattan, even because it's in Central Park, is still relatively like as it was. But you're not going to find a lot of elevation. Like the highest thing in New York, like Long Island is taller than Staten Island, but it's all stuff that's east of the fall line. So it's all like 400 feet and some change and less. So, um, but that's a good question, Bill. And I'm going to probably take that question of yours down and probably put that in the script somewhere. I really think that is, I feel that probably deserves to be unpacked a little bit and explained. So thank you for that. Something I'd wonder about, if Illinois were to be split in half at around Springfield, it'd still be up north. It'd still be, oh, you mean the southern. If Illinois, like northern Illinois, would be still Charles Mount. Southern Illinois would be, unless you, if the dividing line went straight north and south through Springfield, that might change things a little bit. But if you were divided across, drew a east-west line through Springfield, then I would make an assumption that it would be similar to, that the elevation would be similar, like that would probably shift down into the Shawnee National Forest. I bet you we could find that out real quick, going on that County High Points page or whatever. But I have a feeling, much like you get the, like if you really wanted to find vertical relief in Illinois, you go down south, just like Indiana. You head down to where everything was carved up by, glacier melt runoff, and the machinations of the Mississippi, Ohio rivers, and all that other stuff. There's a couple cool sites down there, regardless, and there's a trail that runs across southern Illinois. I can't. What is it? Is it the River to River Trail? It's been a long time, but there was one point decades ago where I really wanted to do that trail, and I still think that given the choice, given some point in time, I think I'd still like to hike that trail because it takes you through the Illinois version of their version of Garden of the Gods, and then Lusk Creek Wilderness, and a couple other places along the way. And that part of Illinois is so different than the cornfields and grain fields and windmills and that plains, that far sort of tall grass prairie that you get further up. So there it is, Polk County. Where is Polk County? Is it down south? Does Polk County have the Shawnee National Forest in it? Or part of it? I'd be curious. And I'm also curious on what the elevation would be. I'd estimate it's probably around maybe 1,000 feet. Well, there you go, 1064. Not too bad of a guess. But yeah, I'd like also, I still got to get back and redo Illinois. Speaking of Illinois, so that brings me up onto what are some of the alternatives. I'm going to go back and probably try to get Kerwood. I'd like to probably do that this year at some point. I really need to get back to Wisconsin and see my folks and, stuff like that. So a fun little trip back up to the UP would be interesting, worthwhile. I'd refilm it all again, because every time I've filmed Michigan, it's been rainy. So I wouldn't mind getting a sunny day to film Michigan. Um, and I think I'd add a little more to it. I think a stop at Lake Gogebic would be worthwhile as well, because that's a rather cool body of water. Also, to tie in with Michigan, would be the thought of going out to Isle Royale and picking up the high point there as part of the Michigan episode. Um, so I'm doing a Route 66 trip this summer, and I'm going to try to get to Tom Sauk Mountain as a side trip. Nice, easy drive up, easy. If you have more time that and it's been wet, that's the key. If it's been rainy in that area for a good bit, then I would highly recommend going and seeing Minnesauk Falls. If it has been dry as a bone, don't bother. You will see a dry falls. But that's a fun little hike. Like if you have time and you want to do a little bit of a hike around there, that's a good hike because you're not going to get a hike from the high point. You'll drive up there, you'll park, you'll take in the trail is all it's accessible to everybody. So if you had somebody with you that wasn't completely ambulatory and you needed to push the chair, that's a great high point to take them to. So ever stay with the lowest county high point? You ever get to stay with the lowest county high point? Wouldn't it be any state that has a county that borders the ocean? Oh, never mind. That's a low point. Sorry. I'm not thinking. Never mind. Um, the state with the lowest county high point would be California. No, wait a second. Sorry. Why am I saying that? No. Wait. Let me clear up my question. Okay, hold on. No, it's not. And I'm thinking low points. I got low points on the brain. So, wouldn't surprise me if it was Florida. I looked earlier to what states would be viable for them to vote on for new convention site. This year's vote is for Midwest, Indiana, Kansas, Nebraska, North Dakota. I don't think North Dakota gets it because there ain't nothing there. Um, I don't think North Dakota gets it. I wouldn't be surprised if Kimball might be able to get it because I think Kimball could support it. There's enough. You got I-80, so and so you do have that. Um, if they had it in Goodland in Kansas, I think that's possible. I wouldn't be surprised though if it's Indiana. Indiana is probably the one that where it would be the easiest. You have Richmond right down the road. That's a pretty decent sized community. Interesting history in Richmond, Indiana. Not only with the High Point proximity, but the Underground Railroad, jazz, lots of fascinating things in Richmond. Not all good, but still. Um, um, I wonder how they'd handle it for high points that have insanely small parking areas like Indiana. I would not put it by if they didn't work with the family that owns it to figure out some way to work that. That's how Indiana would work. Otherwise, I could see them doing a shuttle system and showing up and just shuttling people over. But yeah, that's a good point because those roads, going out to Hoosier Hill, they don't really, there's no off the road parking there. Um, uh, Boquasan County in the state. Then Poquasan sounds like something you'd get out of Rhode Island. But wait, Rhode Island doesn't have counties. I'm not going to cheat. I could grab my phone and just type it in, but I'm gonna yield on this and say, um, I'm gonna say, what is it? I'm just gonna ask. So, um, it's East Coast. Well, I might have to do some Virginia. Virginia. Oh, is it out on the peninsula? It's got to be out on the eastern shore. That would probably be, that might go on the list for this year too. I mean, the lowest county high point. Yeah, it has to be out on the eastern shore. But then again, I've not been right this whole time, so who knows? Um, but yeah, that could probably work its way onto the list too. It'd be nice, nice little addendum to go on to Virginia. Um, that county is on the East Coast. I'm gonna actually go look at this up real quick. Hold on, I am gonna look it up. Um, because I'm curious now, and I wonder who owns it. Um, oh, let's see. Oh, dun, 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 dun. I swear we talked about the state with counties, county high points all above 9,000 feet, and it's either Utah or Nevada. Um, Boquasan County. Oh no, never mind. Man, I have been striking out left and right. That ain't even on the eastern shore on the peninsula. That's down by Hampton Roads, Norfolk area. Makes sense, I guess, but still, it's not where I expected that. So here's the question, though. Now, Virginia's weird because Poquoson itself is an independent city. So is it Poquoson County or is it York that has the high, like, I'm very curious. I will do more research because I am definitely, yes. Yeah, so technically, not a county high point because Virginia has independent cities. Weird little quirk. Counties and so it's the reason why Arlington Arlington actually is a county and a city all wrapped up in one. But Alexandria, independent city. So Virginia is really weird about things like that, which could make an interesting, could really make for an interesting thing in its own right. To I see you up there. Good gravy. Uh, if you see the cameo, because there he is right in the back of the corner. So that could be a fun little thing, quirk too, for somebody if they ever wanted to really go and push it a bit to when you look at Virginia to do the independent cities vice the counties to really go crazy on it because they're weird like that. And fun fact, Florida has the lowest named county high point. That was actually one of the things that was most interesting about. I remember when going into. By the way, if you see him on over this shoulder, you see that little fella right there. That is That is one of our cats. His name's Freddie Tango, and he's a very sweet boy, but he's also very curious and very rambunctious. But you guys get a Freddie Tango cameo tonight, so how about that? It's funny, Pretzel. Sometimes the facts you bring up really make me make me realize that there are certain things that I've sort of missed, um, that I wish I could, like, what if I ever go back and redo them again and again or whatever. But there's always these little factoids that I feel like that was a good throwaway line when talking about geographical nature of Florida. To uh, is Tango a flame point? No, Freddie. My son named him Freddie Tango, and he is just a standard American short-haired tabby cat. He's a ginger though, and everything that goes with ginger cats, or doesn't in some cases. So, but yeah, but that would have been a nice throwaway line talking about the geographical nature of Florida to say, Florida has the lowest named county high point and then direct people to it. I swear we went through this a couple months ago. State that has the highest unnamed county high point, and once again, I want to say it's Utah or Nevada. Um, I mean, Nevada is a mountaineer's dream, just like Utah, but Nevada in particular has so many ranges and so many peaks that you could safely just high point in Nevada for the rest of your life and have amazing climbs. Colorado? Might be Colorado. Wasn't it a 14er, an unnamed 14er? So, anyway, that's where we are. It's 8:32. I'm gonna probably make this one a little bit shorter. And Colorado, not 14 or 12er. Okay, not too shabby. But there is an unnamed 14er, just as probably a county high point then. I swear, like I saw that before. I could be mistaken. Probably am. But needless to say, I hope you guys, I will see you in a couple weeks. I'm going to push these out a little bit more. Not every other week, but every other week. Let the winter season go by. And once I start getting more content to talk about doing some actual, all the 14ers are named, but aren't technically counted due to prominence. Good night, go Patriots. My Packers are no longer in the fight. We won't talk about that in any way, shape, or form. Interesting. It's always interesting. The prominence thing always cracks me up. So, anyway, yes, if your sports ball team of choice is playing tonight, may victory be upon you. But for me, this guy has no dog in the fight anymore. My Packers fell apart, and they fell apart spectacularly. So, for all I care, yay sports ball at this point. So, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. In the meantime, if you go high pointing, be safe out there. I appreciate you all. Have a good night. Cheers.